Good morning, everyone. It's Sunday, December 3. We are now back in Shandong province. We're in Qingdao again, which is a major port city in Shandong, which is where we are most of the time. This headline on the thumbnail is not original to me. I know it's inflammatory, but there was an article written by a really clever guy from the National Security Institute who explains the rare earth problem in the context of the big Swedish find earlier this year. So there are 4 steps, very critical steps involved in the refining and manufacturing of magnets from rare earth materials. So the first is obviously the mining. The Swedes just found a giant million-ton reserve of rare earth metals, and it made headlines around the world. You do see these headlines sometimes, like the Japanese engineers discovered 1 billion tons or something on the ocean floor of the Pacific Ocean, or they discovered there's an asteroid or a comet up there that has all the rare earths we would ever need, etc. And so the Swedish find is the largest one in Europe. There are immediately problems with the analysis, though, because first it obviously needs to be mined. Then comes the separation of the rare earth metals, separating the different kinds of ores that make up the different components. Then those have to be refined, and then the refined materials need to be converted into manufactured product, the magnets. And China has, respectively, about 75% of the rare earth mining, 89% of the rare earth separation, 90% of the refining, and 92% of the magnet production. The United States, in comparison, has 16% of the rare earth mining, 0% of separation, 0% of refining, and 1% of magnets. China and Myanmar is the country to our southwest from here. Together they are 100% of the heavy rare earth mining and production. 100. So the Sweden mine knows they have these challenges just in the mining because the environmental concerns there are much higher, the cost of labor is much higher, the population centers are probably in the wrong places to be able to produce this at scale anytime soon. And even the CEO there says it's likely to be at least 10 years, probably longer, before they even start turning shovels to get the stuff out of the ground. Then they would have to send it to China for steps 2, 3, and 4 because there's no production capacity in Europe either. I take it as a given that if you're a government employee in Japan, say, and you go to work in Tokyo, that your job is to do work that is beneficial for the Japanese government and for its people. I know that's what people in Beijing do. They go to work for the benefit of the China government and the citizens of China. It's a good bit less obvious what happens when Washington employees go to work. Somehow we're living in a time when nobody in the so-called developed world knows how to make magnets anymore. I'm an American citizen. Direct Equipment is a U.S. company right in North Carolina. I'm a 9-year veteran of the American Army. And I was a nobody. I was just an enlisted nobody special. But even I, on my dumbest day, would have realized that this is a national security interest of ours, that the rare earth metals that are so important to guidance systems and missiles, and we apparently need like 950 pounds of rare earths to go into a stealth bomber. So I can't even imagine what it takes to build an aircraft carrier and all the planes that go on top of those things, or a nuclear submarine and the sonar systems. And it would be a national security crisis, even if these materials were coming from a friendly country, Great Britain, say, or Australia. It would still be a concern if there was an ocean separating us from these very critical components that are going to get us through the next century. And so I wondered just what the people in Washington have been doing. Over 30 years ago, Deng Xiaoping, who was the head of China, looked at a resource map of the country, and he said that China has a monopoly, an advantage on rare earth metals, in the same respect that the Middle East has a monopoly on energy, petroleum. And he said that China would be taking advantage of this opportunity, this advantage. That was when rare earths did not matter nearly as much as today. That was not a top secret document or plan. That was published in the Western media. And so for 30 years we've been aware of this problem. And fast forward to today, and now China has a monopoly on the entire process, from mining all the way through the magnet manufacture. I'm still a nobody. I'm now middle-aged, and I will be eligible for Social Security and Medicare before Sweden has figured out what to do with this mountain of rare earth metals. So I know I'm not going to live long enough to watch NASA send up space shuttles to be chasing comets around. Thanks for listening. Enjoy your Sunday. Be good.